If you've ever felt your chest tighten right before asking her for closeness, not because you don't want it, but because you're afraid of hearing no, this is for you. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men are never told. Rejection doesn't come from the question you ask. It comes from the emotional state you bring into the moment long before you speak. I'm not saying this to judge you. I am saying it as someone who has watched countless men unknowingly sabotage intimacy from the inside out. You've been taught that asking for closeness is about timing, confidence, or finding the right words. That's only half the story. The deeper truth is this. Women don't reject requests. They reject pressure, and pressure is often invisible to the man creating it. When a man asks for intimacy from a place of need, validation, or emotional hunger, her nervous system feels it instantly. She may not consciously understand why something feels off, but her body knows that discomfort translates into hesitation, distance, or rejection. Not because you did something wrong, but because your energy quietly said, I need something from you to feel okay. Healthy desire doesn't demand. Invites. This is where most men get confused. They assume wanting intimacy makes them needy. It doesn't. Wanting closeness is human, but attaching your self-worth to her response is what silently kills attraction. The moment she senses that her answer has the power to regulate your emotional state, the dynamic shifts. You stop feeling grounded and start feeling uncertain. And women feel safest opening themselves when they feel free, not responsible. If she senses that saying yes is an obligation, or saying no will emotionally damage you, her system chooses that protection looks like delays, excuses, or emotional shutdown, not because desire isn't there, but because the emotional cost feels too high. The men who experience the least rejection aren't the smoothest or they're the ones whose internal state says, I'm okay either way. That calm ESNT indifference, it's strength. It communicates one powerful message. You are desired, not required, and that distinction changes everything. For women, intimacy begins in safety, not sexuality. Safety that she won't be rushed. Safety that she won't be judged. Safety that her autonomy is respected. When you ask for closeness from a regulated, grounded place, her body feels permission instead of pressure. That's why rehearsed lines fail. That's why tactics collapse. Because intimacy isn't negotiated with logic. It's felt through emotional tone. Before you ever ask her, the real question is this. Are you emotionally centered, or emotionally invested in her answer? One creates desire. The other creates resistance. If you've been rejected before, don't take it as proof that you're unworthy. See it as feedback about emotional alignment. Attraction grows when she feels chosen, not cornered, desired, not depended on. In the moments ahead, intimacy won't be decided by your words. It will be decided by the emotional posture you bring into the room. And once you understand that, rejection stops feeling like a threat and starts becoming rare. Now let us talk about the silent mistake that turns even genuine attraction into rejection. Asking for intimacy before emotional resonance is established. Many men think attraction is visual or logical. For women, it's neurological. Her body opens when her nervous system feels attuned to yours. Without that attunement, even a respectful request can feel premature. Emotional resonance isn't deep conversation. It's not proving you're different. Resonance is when she feels seen without being analyzed, understood without being interrogated, and valued without being evaluated. When resonance is missing, intimacy feels like a leap instead of a flow. The part most men resist hearing. If you unsure whether it's the right moment to ask, it usually isn't. Not because attraction isn't there, but because your intuition is detecting misalignment. Fear of missing the opportunity makes men override that intuition. That fear leaks into posture, pacing, and tone. Even if your words are polite, she feels the rush. Women don't experience intimacy as a switch. They experience it as a progression. When emotional steps are skipped, her system applies brakes, not gas. That's why some men hear I'm not ready, even when attraction exists. Readiness isn't about time. It's about internal safety. So, what does emotional readiness look like? Relaxed eye contact that doesn't seek approval. Conversation without an agenda. Presence instead of performance. When she's laughing as Ali, leaning in without thinking, sharing without being prompted, her body is already closer than her words admit. Men who struggle with rejection often ask from the future instead of the present. They're imagining outcomes, hoping for reassurance, seeking certainty. But women live in the emotional now. If the moment feels grounded, connected, and unforced, intimacy feels natural, not requested. Women are also highly sensitive to emotional if your words sound calm, but your body signals urgency, she trusts your body. If your voice is soft but your eyes are desperate, she responds to the desperation. That's not manipulation, that's biology. The most attractive men don't escalate intimacy by pushing, they create an environment where asking almost feels unnecessary. When alignment is real, the question becomes mutual. Her body is already answering before her mouth does. This doesn't mean avoiding clarity. It means choosing timing rooted in awareness, not anxiety. You're not waiting for perfection, you're listening for readiness. And here's a powerful shift. Intimacy isn't something you take or request, it's something you allow to happen. When you ask from that mindset, your energy changes. You're no longer trying to get something. You're offering a shared experience. When men stop chasing intimacy and start cultivating connection, rejection loses its sting, because it stops feeling like a judgment and starts feeling like information. The irony is simple. The less you fear rejection, the less often it happens. Not because you learned a trick, but because you learned to listen. Now let's address what determines most outcomes but is almost never discussed. Your internal emotional architecture. Women aren't rejecting you because of your looks, your words, or your lifestyle. They're responding to the tension inside you, the unresolved need, the hidden fear, the silent hope that she must respond a certain way for you to feel okay. When you approach intimacy with a hidden agenda, I need this to feel loved, secure, validated, her body senses it immediately. Your nervous system is broadcasting incompleteness, and biology recoils from emotional weight that feels imposed. Contrast that with a man who is emotionally centered and he knows he remains whole whether she says yes or no. His desire isn't desperate. It's grounded. His invitation isn't a plea, it's an offer. She feels that difference before a word is spoken. This is the invisible language of attraction. It's why calm/present men often succeed, where strategic men fail. Asking from need is anxiety disguised as courage. You think you're being bold, but you're negotiating approval. When she senses that instability, the question becomes irrelevant. Her system says, I can't risk engaging with this. The solution sounds simple, but it isn't easy. Cultivate emotional independence while staying deeply present. Emotional independence isn't coldness or detachment, it means your nervous system doesn't hinge on her response. Your value isn't outsourced, your desire is owned. Notice your body when longing turns into pressure, tight chest, shallow breath, clenched jaw, pause, regulate, breathe. Remind yourself, I am complete, I am okay. Step forward from that place. Your words will naturally carry authority without coercion, warmth without neediness, and desire without pressure. When men operate from clarity, women can open freely. Safety triggers desire. Pressure triggers hesitation, and hesitation often looks like rejection. The most attractive men don't chase intimacy. They aiuto italiano. They create emotional conditions where closeness becomes inevitable. And when they do speak desire, it lands as an invitation, not a plea. Every rejection you've experienced was feedback, not about your worth, but about your internal alignment. When your emotions align, your words align. And when they do, intimacy stops being a high-stakes risk and starts becoming a natural flow. Finally, understand this. Timing and clarity only work when rooted in presence. You can be grounded and confident, but if timing is off or clarity is weak, the moment collapses. Clarity isn't force. It's calm truth without emotional attachment. I want to be close to you, and I respect your choice. That balance creates attraction. Women respond to emotional flow, not plans or pressure. When energy rises naturally in her eyes, her body, her warmth, that's your cue. Fear of missing the moment is the enemy of intimacy. Fear leaks. Presence invites. Intimacy isn't won through persistence or performance. It's created through safety, desire, and freedom, existing at the same time. So here's the question I want you to answer honestly. Are you asking for intimacy from need or from grounded desire? Sit with that. Write your answer in the comments. If this resonated, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear what they've been avoiding. Because intimacy isn't about tricks. It's about mastery of your inner world.